Let's see. There we go. Oh. Hope everybody's doing okay. I am exhausted. Barry didn't work and will be all month. Goody. Hope folks are doing well. I would have had the stream set up earlier, except I lost track of time with everything that I've got to do. Yeah, it should be off, Joel. It's off on my end. I hope people aren't seeing that still. Because then that's a whole other problem. Because my side does not show that anymore. So, reminder for everybody that while I will do my best to keep up with the chat as it goes, the only thing that will guarantee that I see your comment or question and respond to it will be to do it as a super chat, which will also get you the little gay heart of appreciation, especially fitting for Pride. So, yep, all the all the things, all the likes and so forth. It feels like it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. My brain is fried. So people are still seeing that. That's infuriating. Because I did, damn it. Because I did the stuff that I looked up was supposed to turn it off. And now I don't see it anymore. But other people's, but the chat still does. What the? That's fucking infuriating. I hate this goddamn thing. So at some point I'm gonna have to do some other stuff, I guess. I got on What It Feels Like for a Girl on BBC One right now. I have no idea what that is, Adrian. Never heard of it. Wait, what? Black cover? Okay. God. Fuck. All right. I gotta figure out how to turn this shit off. See, like, the instructions that I have found they apply to individual users. Like, everybody else would have to do it. So, like, God damn it. No, Black Cover, you didn't do anything wrong. But if that's part of how they work, then I really need to get rid of this. God. I'm not mad at you. I'm pissed at Google for this thing. Because I hate it. No. Basically, yes, tabletop. I did not opt in for this. Google just started doing it. It still is a thing, tabletop. I can't turn it off. I don't have an option. Yeah, no, you folks have to turn it off. It's up to the viewers to turn it off. I can't turn it off for you. Like, I'm not seeing it anymore because I turned it off on my end, but anyone who hasn't done that is still seeing it. There does not currently appear to be any way for me to disable the function on my own live stream. So, I would assume just once, Aaron. Just because I've only done it once and I haven't seen it since I've done it. So I think once you as an individual do it, you won't see this anymore. But I can't stop it from being a feature on the chat, which really, really ticks me off. Well, yeah, it's copied over from Twitch, which is stupid in the first place because you will never improve on a feature by just importing it from somewhere else, especially when Twitch is already preferred for streamers anyway. Sorry that we have started the chat with me now in a really foul mood because Google is a piece of garbage. I'm glad their cars are on fire in Los Angeles. Screw you, Google. Last month, some alt-writer showed up at a Pride event, just got mocked by everyone. I found that heartening. Yeah, like the thing is, a huge part, like always be careful. There are the extreme end of the far right who are actually dangerous and show up armed. But if they aren't to that degree, their boldness is based on the assumption that most people agree with them. And they don't hold up well when being confronted with the reality that no, people don't agree with them. In fact, they think they're pretty stupid. Experience points make more sense on Twitch because gaming. Yeah, I'll give you that. It makes a vague bit of sense over there. Currently listening through your podcast with Jesse on Babylon 5. I'm at the start of season 2. I'll have fun with that. Twitch boy, it's actually do something it doesn't hear. I don't know, Marrow. Like, I hate the feature, so I don't know enough about it to know what you can do with it. No, she wasn't, because the tradition of drag queens goes back to Elizabethan theater and beyond. So no, Ms. Wicked Wolf. That said, Bugs Bunny, absolute queen. And I don't like praising Warner Brothers, but this is me praising the creative end. I appreciate that they have kept that going. I appreciate that in things like the Looney Tunes show or whatever was the recent one from a couple years ago. Bugs still does that every now and then, and doesn't have to, like chooses to. Like I just saw a clip actually earlier today where like he and Lola have snuck on board an airplane as flight attendants, and Bugs is in this, skirt, cute top, heels, and Lola says, there are boy flight attendants, and Bugs goes, yeah, but I like what the heels do for my height. I love it. Bailey, oh dang. Oh my goodness, Bailey. Thank you so much. That was incredibly generous. I really appreciate that. Here's some money to help you because I'm feeling generous. You were feeling quite generous indeed, and I appreciate it. And it's done wonders for my mood. If you had the choice to be either the Doctor, the Master, or a companion, what would you choose? Are we okay? So, Mr. Zacky Boy, are we saying like play the part as an actor, or are we saying like be the thing? Because those are very different answers. I think there's references to drag performance in ancient Babylon. Wouldn't be shocked. There's an interesting bit of trivia. Looney Tunes was never made for kids. It was made for adults. That's not really accurate. It was made by adults who did things to make themselves laugh. It was still intended to appeal to a young audience, as pretty much all cartoons at the time were. But it did have a different core philosophy to its humor and its approach, as opposed to, say, Disney, which very much shaped, especially its early shorts, around the idea of this is for kids. Whereas the Looney Tunes were much more like, this is funny. I don't care how old you are. This is funny. Your last few reviews of Doctor Who have been different opinions to Jesse Gender, which is interesting to see. We frequently have different opinions, although sort of, but also not. Like, we've run into this rather often when talking through stuff. Like, we'll come into a conversation, one of us liking a thing, the other one not liking it. Let's be honest, I'm usually the one who doesn't like it, but it's gone the other way too. And when we start talking it out, we actually usually find more often than not, we like and dislike the same things. It's just a question of whether or not the stuff we like did enough to compensate for the things we didn't like, or maybe the stuff we didn't like was like, I didn't like it, but it didn't bother me that much. But like when we actually break down into component parts, we're like, oh no, we've actually basically got the same assessment. It's just that stuff bothered you a lot more than it did me, is kind of the way it tends to shake out. Galley cap. What is galley cap? Sounds Doctor Who related. Gallifrey Cabaret. Oh, well, have fun at that. I recently rewatched the cartoon where Bugs plays the Hungarian Rhapsody on piano, and there's a bit where the guy in the audience is coughing and Bugs shoots him. Yeah. Like, it was a very strange thing. Like, I get why they did it, but it was a very odd thing when they stopped giving Elmer Fudd the gun. Like, Looney Tunes has never been shy about explosives and guns and all that sort of stuff. So, like, having that removed was kind of odd. Again, I get it, but What was my real-time reaction to the reveal of the finale? I don't know, man. I didn't record it. Like, this stuff doesn't get burned into my brain more often than not. I probably rolled my eyes. I know you were frustrated by my asking about the 14th Doctor, but I hope you'll still permit me the joke. It's not like I'm seriously expecting an answer. I think I'm missing context. I think you're referencing something that I don't remember. So, okay. Oh, you mean constantly asking where's the 14th Doctor? And yeah. Here's the problem with doing that as a joke, and I'm not mad at you, but here's the problem with doing that as a joke, is that it is completely impossible to differentiate that from the people who are asking that sincerely. So, like, you kind of lose me when your joke looks the exact same as the version that's not a joke. Elmer with a scythe didn't make sense. No, it really didn't. Like, the dude's a hunter. At the very least, just have him set traps. If you're getting rid of the gun. Good grief. I guess then he's too much like Wile E. Coyote, though. Well. I love the trying to find positive stuff, in the positives in stuff you don't like, criticism. I do try and come, like, it is, well, especially if it's a main channel video, it is rare that I will 100% condemn something. There's going to be times where in the break room where maybe something had positive points, but I just don't care about it enough to lay them out. That happened when I reviewed Baby Girl recently. It's not like there was nothing that was okay about it, but like, it just didn't work for me. So across the board, and it was just a break room video. So I'm like, I don't care about being fair. This movie sucks, man. Can I at least put the comments on your videos? If not, you're like, go ahead. Go ahead. Feel free to put a /S for sarcasm. Because otherwise I'm liable to forget. Do I still do cabaret? Yeah, I hosted a Pride show this past Saturday, and I will be hosting a newcomers showcase later this month. So yeah, I still do stuff. What is this? This is telling me that there's a problem with the stream. Hang on. Let me close a few other things here. Close that. Close that. Stream came back on for a few. It seems fine now. Okay, I'm just concerned because okay, now the message has gone away. All right, this stream is, oh boy, this has become a whole thing. To be fair, 14 has a TARDIS, so it's possible he wasn't on Earth during the reality war. To be more fair, it's not his job anymore. Dude's retired. Let him be retired. Where can we catch one of your shows? Well, I mean, not anywhere online, Reno. Unless you're in Vermont, you're not going to be able to. These things don't stream. To answer your question, what it feels like for a girl is based on the diary of Paris Lees, a prominent UK trans woman. Okay. Well, I hope it's good, because not everything about or purporting to be telling the story of trans women is the Danish girl. Which Doctor Who actor, as in the Doctors, would make the best captain in a Star Trek show? Well, God, that's actually a two-pronged debate, because You're going to have a debate over what makes a good captain in the first dang place. I would say 8th, I think, would be my inclination on that. Thought the idea of casting a companion actor would bother you less than bringing back a doctor. I mean, not by much, like a little less, not a whole lot. It's still the same masturbatory nonsense. Yeah, I'm in Seattle. Yeah, Reno, then you're probably not going to get to see me live. If I recall, Russell said in Doctor Who magazine that 14 drowned trying to save Venice from sinking. He made an offhanded joke comment to that effect. People have tried to take that as canon, and it's not. Just wish the BBC would make a decision about Doctor Who already. Well, they probably can't until they know whether or not Disney's sticking around. And then if Disney is out, they probably need to go on the hunt for new partners. So I don't think the BBC's the holdup here, Reno. I want to say Capaldi. Cap is in the name. I feel like Capaldi would be way better suited to being like basically your Dr. McCoy on the ship. I'm not sure he'd work in the captain's seat. I mean, in the sense that you're not doing the exact same thing again. I mean, 255. I'm not going to sit here and try and parse what would make me more upset to what degree or what I'd be more okay with. I don't like any of it. And ranking what bothers me more is an exercise I'm not particularly interested in doing. At this point, it feels like the show's just looking back instead of forward. Well, yeah, that's what I mean when I say it's become masturbatory. It's a circle jerk. What are your thoughts of RTD saying the Doctor was in love with Belinda? First of all, I don't care what he said, because if it's not in the show, it's not canon. Second of all, bullshit. I guess, like, I just go to embrace sassy this evening. That's just what we're going for. Why do they need a partner to begin with? They got by for decades with just the BBC. Just go back to being low budget. Because you can't get away with low budget anymore. I mean, you can't. They're terrified about the ratings, about the loss of... Like, Doctor Who is one of their few really big properties. And while, like, you can go, it used to be fine with wobbly sets and bad effects. Yeah, it did. But that doesn't mean you can go back to that and get away with it. Once you raise the bar, it's really hard to lower it. Will some fans accept it? Yeah. Will new audiences accept it? Almost definitely not. Like, I'm not saying they should have prioritized visuals the way that they have these 2 seasons, but they did. And now they're kind of stuck. Have you ever seen Hadestown? Nope, I have not. Phil Paget, comedian, thank you very much for the super chat. Happy Pride with love. I appreciate that immensely. I don't want big CGI monstrosities and green screens. I don't disagree, but there is now an expectation of some degree of spectacle. It shouldn't be in every episode, and most of the best episodes don't have it, but it's still the expectation. It just is. And also, as Tabletop noted, the BBC doesn't even have the same kind of budget it used to have in the first dang place. Coyote Azul, thank you very much for the super chat. Do you have enough sass to be a sassassin? Are you sure you want to find that out? What Doctor Who alien would you go out to lunch with? I think it would be funny to chat to a Dalek. It would be difficult to have a conversation with the Weeping Angels. I think it would be more difficult to have a conversation with a Dalek. You'd never get a word in edgewise. I don't know. Let's sit down and have lunch with the silence, because I don't have to worry about how I am. I could be completely embarrassing, make a total fool of myself. I won't remember afterwards, so it's a nice safety net. It's nonsense stuff, Bookworm, that unfortunately I can't turn off. You have to turn it off on your end, and there's a whole process to go through. I saw a stream from a Pride event this week and thought, God, I feel sorry for queer people who are as anti-party as I am. I know plenty of queer introverts. They just don't go to these things, which is fine. Hi from Georgia. Hey there, Freya. Doctor Who wouldn't lose its visual look as Disney asked for 4K when the BBC standard is 2K resolution, so that time and work saved from going 2K would allow it to continue looking the same. That math doesn't math. No. I saw the TV Glow recently. Your review was absolutely incredible. Thank you, Alexander. I appreciate that. Look the same with a lower budget. I mean, yeah, but it wouldn't drop the budget by enough for the BBC to be able to fund the thing themselves. I wasn't against Omega's design, but I can't help but feel like it would have been better suited for Sutekh. And there's that too. So see, there's a lore reason why all aliens look like humans, so they should have kept it. I don't, like, personally, I know some people care about lore. I don't care if there's a lore explanation for why everything looks a little bit human. I don't care. I understand the practical reality is because it's cheaper. And I don't care. Some people care. Some people do. And that's fine if you do. I do not. First Pride Month where I have some personal investiture. My girlfriend is trans. Ah, well, welcome to the extended family then. What's my favorite scene from The Dark Knight? I don't know. Maybe the opening robbery. I haven't watched that movie in a while. Oh, I did like Nardole, Rowan. I like Nardole quite a bit, actually. Do you think the Matt Smith era might get nostalgia milk next? I hope not, Ellie. I really do. I thought Omega looked cool, but why was he here at all? It was 2 minutes and did nothing. Yeah. I mean, like, yeah. I mean, I think I have a feeling like I think Omega was arrived at with what I tend to think of as reverse engineer writing. So I doubt it was a case of RTD going, ooh, I have a great idea for Omega. I think it was a case of, okay, I want the Ronnie to be doing something that is going to get the younger one killed. And so it needs to be a little bit of that kind of Ark of the Covenant, or, you know, the villain summons a Lovecraftian monster that kills them kind of thing. Is there anything pre-existing in lore that I could use to fit that? Ooh, I could do a thing with Omega. So I think it was something that was arrived at as an answer to the question, what do I want to be the thing that kills the Ronnie, as opposed to a starting point of a desire to actually do anything with Omega. Would you actually want David Tennant to appear with Billie Piper again? No! No! Was that emphatic enough? Okay. I need to head over to the Discord. Reminder, Council of Geeks Discord is a Patreon perk. $2 a month on the Patreon gets you access to the Discord. But right now I need to pop over there. Feel free to keep chatting amongst yourselves. You can leave a super chat if you want. I will see that when I get back. Anything else I probably won't see. I need to answer whatever questions were asked over there, and I'll try and be as quick as I can. For big character sacrifices to have the desired effect, do they need to be permanent, or does the character just have to believe it's going to be permanent when they make the sacrifice? People often get mad at shows for undoing things like that, but what if they're really concerned about is whether the protagonist had the strength of character to do the right thing? Does it matter as long as they believe the sacrifice was permanent in the moment? The way you've worded this question, I think you're conflating two different things. I think more often than not, at least in my experience, when people get upset about a sacrifice being undone is when it happens a bit later. It's usually more accepted if, like, a hero does something that they believe will cost them their life, and then it succeeds, and then almost immediately turns out, oh, they're still alive. That can sometimes go south, but that generally tends to land okay. What gets people ticked off is when a character sacrificed themselves and that happened, and the character was mourned in universe and by the fans, and then way later shows up again. It's like, well, then what'd you put us through all that for? So I think the distance of time makes a difference in a thing like that. The book I'm reading at the moment is about a contact agent undercover as a doctor on a medieval planet. This is in reference to Ian M. Banks's The Culture series, for those who don't know. But you only realize that if you've read the rest of the Culture series and can pick up on the clues because it's told from the native's perspective. Is it bad writing to create a book that only makes sense if your reader happens to have read your other books? I keep imagining a casual sci-fi fan picking this up in a library or somewhere similar, having no idea what's actually going on. No, it's not bad writing. Is it restrictive writing in terms of reaching an audience? Yeah, but you are allowed to write something for a niche audience. Not everything needs to have the broadest audience possible. And honestly, if you're writing something that is however many books deep into a series, I think you're allowed to indulge yourself a bit like that. Like, I know the Culture series, they are pretty much all standalone, and they aren't like numbered in like well, you have to read them this way because it's the chronological order of the grand story. I know it's not that kind of series, but at the same time, I think that deep into a series, you're allowed to do that kind of indulgence. And if somebody opted to start there, maybe they should have checked and asked a fan where was a better place to start. Like, is it going to alienate some people? Sure. Is that a problem? It doesn't have to be. That's only a problem if your goal was to attract the most number of readers possible. And if he did that, I doubt that was his goal with that one. How do you feel about heterosexual male writers who tend to default to writing female characters in line with what they personally find attractive and personality-wise? I feel like some male writers do this and then justify to themselves by saying they find strong women attractive, so it's fine. I do not have the time or the spoons to unpick that issue. So I am going to move on. I will say I do think that there are levels of that. Like, first of all, if we're talking about any visual medium, the writer, yes, does describe the character, but ultimately the actor or the drawing, if it's animated, is getting finalized elsewhere. So don't blame the writers. But even if it is something that you can blame on the writer, like, there is a difference between describing what they find attractive and feeling like they are lusting after their own creation. It's one of those things that's hard to quantify, but you can kind of tell. Who's your favorite classic Who Doctor? Sylvester McCoy. The worst Big Finish story of Doctor Who. Oh, I am in no position to answer that. I have not listened to nearly enough Big Finish to be able to say that. I will say the one that I listened to that I liked the least, and I don't think I even did a review on it. It was Phantasmagoria. I really didn't care for that one. I really didn't like it. That's the worst one that I've heard, personally. But do not take that as meaning it's the worst Big Finish story. God, I've listened to maybe 4% of Big Finish. Probably not even that. No, definitely not even that. Probably more like 0.4. According to IMDb ratings, the best episode of each season of New Who is The Empty Child, The Girl in the Fireplace, Blink, Force of the Dead, Vincent and the Doctor, Go Bang Goes to War, The Name of the Doctor, Listen, Heaven Sent, World Enough of Time, Rosa, Fugitive of the Dune, Village of the Angels, and The Well. First of all, you missed one. You missed season 1 because that one, the best rated on IMDb, is 73 yards. I went and found that before the stream started. Which ones do you agree with and which do you think are overrated? I agree with The Empty Child. I agree with Vincent and the Doctor. I agree with Heaven Sent. I think I agree with Name of the Doctor. That's a soft agree. And I agree with 73 yards. The rest of them, like, none of those are responses that, like, make me angry, but I don't personally agree with any of the rest of them. Well, Village of the Angels makes me a little annoyed, but whatever. That's flux. You're picking from some really slim options. What is your opinion of the news that Tom Holland's Spider-Man will have another mentor figure in the upcoming Spider-Man movie, this time being Bruce Banner? Oh, will he? That's a shame. So there's my opinion. That's a shame. Which character from the Marvel Netflix shows do you think should be brought over to Disney Plus? Can I be mean? Anybody other than Elektra and Iron Fist. Because I'm sorry, they weren't good. And I don't think it was just a writing issue. Elektra especially, I'm not going to call her a bad actress, but she did not have the chemistry with Charlie Cox that you needed to sell Elektra. It wasn't there anywhere close to where it needed to be. Have you seen Dune Part 2? No. Just finished Dreams of Fire audiobook version. Oh, thank you. That's my novel, in case folks don't know. And really enjoyed it. It left me wanting to know more about the world, especially about the side characters and the supernatural elements. Any plans yet for a sequel? Direct sequel, no. I'm hoping to get back to working on another book set in the same world. There, in the current draft, there is one crossover character, though that's a stretch. It's more of a cameo. But otherwise is a completely different cast and a completely different part of the continent that it takes place on. But yeah, I do have plans for that, and I want to get back to it one of these days. Someday I will have time. Yeah, right. Anyways, coming back from the Discord. Oh, we do have a super chat that came in. Lumination. Thank you very much for the super chat. Hi, Vera. Love your videos. Probably have to head off soon. Have work, and I live in an opposite time zone. Oh, goodness. I just wanted to drop in and say hi. Well, thank you for dropping in. I appreciate that very much. Let's see. Patsy Walker was a waste in Netflix too. I mean, I remember her working decently in the first season of Jessica Jones. I barely remember the second season at all. Did you know there's a TARDIS shows up in an episode of Red Dwarf shows for a split second? Yep. I knew that. Elektra felt too much like a comic cartoon for Daredevil's gritty energy. She was good, but she didn't fit for me. Like, I don't even agree with that. I think they just had no chemistry at all. And then, like, the stuff they did with her in Defenders was just like, what are we even doing? Have you read the book Woodworking by Emily St. James? I have not even heard of it. Though that's not saying much. I haven't heard of most books. My overall feeling for Gatwa era is potential to be great, good ideas, but undercooked, lacks impact, and a waste of a good lead performer. For every 73 yards or lucky day, you get a Space Babies. I can understand that. I liked Trish up until she killed Jessica's mother, then she was dead to me. Was that season 2 or 3? I can't remember. Again, I can't really remember the latter seasons of that show at all. I didn't finish season 3, I remember that I didn't finish it. Jennifer De Benedetto, thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate that immensely. Happy Pride, and thanks for all the Doctor Who content. You are very welcome. Do you have any favorite Doctor Who comics or novels? I have not read many Doctor Who comics or novels, so not really. I was upset by the Ruby Conrad forgiveness scene because it felt like the trope of a victim having to forgive her abuser. Thoughts? I am not going to say you're wrong, Hypno Amber. I am not going to say that you are wrong. That is not my read. That was not my read at all. I didn't read that as her forgiving him. I read that as her undoing his damage, but that's not a form of forgiveness. She did that because he was never going to change. So that was not my takeaway. Again, if that bothered other people, I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong, but it wasn't where I landed. What's the worst thing the Doctor has done? For example, the Doctor wiping out the Vervoids from existence has got to be up there. I don't know. That's not the kind of thing I really feel like cataloging tonight. Coyote Azul, thank you very much for the super chat. Funniest episode of Doctor Who in your opinion? For some reason, I keep thinking they should have an episode with a pie fight on the scale of the pie fight in the film The Great Race. Funniest Doctor Who episode. See, that's tricky because a lot of the funniest bits are small moments in episodes that otherwise are not funny. And most of the times that the episodes are trying to be funny on the whole, I don't like it. Honestly, I keep coming back to 11th Hour. That one's pretty funny. Hello here. Still here, apparently. I have work in like 20 minutes. Welcome back. Who are your favorite music artists? That's not how I listen to music, Abigail. Like, my music tastes are eclectic and all over the map, and there are very few artists who I know very much of their discography. I find songs that I like and I collect those. So that's not, it's not a question that my brain is built to answer. I mean, I guess I can name a few that like I liked enough to like see in concert or buy multiple albums from. Lorena McKennitt, Evanescence, Weird Al. There's a random smattering for you. You pointed out RTD was really good at writing Jodie Whittaker. It's a tradition that the next showrunner writes the last page of the Regeneration scene. He wrote the Blossom line for Jodie. Hold on. It's a tradition the next showrunner writes the last page. My understanding is if there's a showrunner changeover, that the new showrunner writes whatever the new Doctor says, not whatever the last thing the old Doctor says. That's my understanding. I feel like Red Dwarf, Doctor Who, and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, like the unofficial triumvirate of British sci-fi. Yeah, sure, why not? Bailey Darley, thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate that very much. Would you want the Doctor to stay on Earth like the Third Doctor? No! No! God, no! Absolutely not. Look, I like John Pertwee a lot, but I don't like that about his era, like, at all. Do you know there's a sequel to The Old Guard coming out on Netflix next month? I did know that. They should have released it this month. There's like some notable gay content in that. That should have been a Pride Month release. I'm so excited to see what they do and if they follow the comics for a bit or do something new. Going by the trailer, it looks like they're going somewhere else, which is odd because the comics kind of set up a classic sequel premise. My mom loves Lorraine McKenna. I saw her in concert a couple years ago. She's still great. Her voice hasn't changed at all, which is nuts. Like, you hear singers, like, they will, sometimes they'll just flatly take numbers off of their off of their set list. They'll take songs off their set list because they can't do them anymore. Or if they do them, they have to transpose them down usually because they can't hit notes they used to be able to hit. She sounds exactly the same. It's bonkers. My music tastes are basically just parodies. Hey, that's a roundabout way to get variety of stuff. I feel like maybe it was just Disney who the dogs weren't allowed to be given to. I don't know how it works. No, that would not be how that works, Crunchy. If Doctor Who signs a deal with a new streamer instead, who would you want them to go to? For example, Amazon Prime or HBO? I don't want to think about the business end of it right now. Like, the streamer partnering at this point is just... I just want it to be in one dang place. Like, that's all. And if you're in the UK, it is. It's all on iPlayer. But if you're anywhere else, it sucks. I was writing a book and had a revelation that all my world building had no relevance to the plot of the book I was currently writing. So now I have to write a different book. See, like, I don't sit down to world build. The way that I world build in my writing is that I figure out what plot I want to come up with and then figure out as much of the world as I need to know for that plot to work. Now, that doesn't mean that, like, in the case of Dreams of Fire, my book that's available out there, go buy it. In the case of that book, I don't want to act like I don't know a whole bunch of stuff that isn't on the page. I do, but it's all, like, related to stuff that I needed to know at all for the story to work. If you were to ask me, like, for a detailed history of the world, I could give you a couple of bullet points, but I couldn't. Some people come up with timelines and family lineages and the history of this kingdom and that, and, like, I just no. Like, my brain will always go, does this matter to the story that I'm telling? No? Awesome. Moving on. Like, if you look at the world map that I have, there's a whole bunch of like landmarks and named places. I don't really know what they are or why they're like that. Like, there's some that, like, okay, I definitely know what that is. I don't know why it's there or why it's like that. There's some things I know. There's a couple of unusual locations on the map that I'm like, yeah, I know what that is. I don't know if it'll ever come up ever in anything that I write set there. But then there's other stuff that I'm like, I don't even know what that is. Sounds cool. Will you be watching 20 years later? Probably on streaming eventually. I'm not planning to rush out to the theater on that one. I'm not a plotter either. I like to make it up as I go along, like Stephen King says, writing by the seat of your seat of your plants. Seat of your pants. Like, I do. I've said before, I need to know how a story ends. If I don't know how it ends, I'm never going to finish it. Because I need to know where I'm going. I don't need to have plotted out exactly how I'm going to get there, but I do need to know where I'm trying to end up. Otherwise, I won't get far. The culture was actually only created to be Zakalwe's employer. Then Banks realized the concept should be its own thing. Oh, that's interesting, 255. Neil Lanwarn? Neil, thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate that greatly. Love Jumpgate with Jesse. How did you feel when Sheridan is taken away by the end of Sleeping in Light? Still makes me ugly cry to this day. It was fitting to the character. Honest assessment, I think it's a little cheesy, but it works. It's nice. How much are we betting the bi generation is going to happen to the master? The bi generation thing needs to fucking stop. I'm so annoyed that they did it a second time. Like, part of why I fell in love with it was because I was like, this needs to be unique, and right now it is, and it's wonderful, and what they did with it was beautiful, and then they fucking did it again. great. Vera, what do you think of the rumors about the Babylon 5 guy wanting to write Doctor Who? J. Michael Straczynski? I wouldn't be surprised if he does. I'd love to see him take a crack at it. I don't know if I'd necessarily want him as showrunner, but I'd love to see a script from him. I legitimately would. Do you think 15's cruel moment would have worked in 10's era? Your video about the Doctor and cruelty seemed to imply it works better for 10's arc. Well, like, part of the reason why it worked for 10's era is because it was part of an arc. I noted in that video that, like, if me now, with my current sensibilities, rolled back in time and saw The Family of Blood for the first time, not knowing that it was part of a greater arc, I probably wouldn't have especially liked that either. But by the time he was done, it was part of an overall arc. Like, since I made that video, the last episode came out, and guess what? It wasn't part of an arc. It was just a thing that he did. Do you watch Stranger Things? I do. I am not excited about season 5 at all. Like, to the point that, like, I'm gonna watch it. I might not review it. Like, I'm hesitant to review something that I'm going in already pretty sure that I'm gonna find way more things to dislike than like. Should Ruby Sunday have been a regeneration of Susan as allegedly planned before Millie? I can't with hypotheticals. I can't tonight. Not that you're wrong for asking. I can't. I'm too tired. I'm too tired for hypotheticals and alternate universe and what ifs tonight. The Doctor to loses memory, then another Time Lord had to come on and run the TARDIS for him until he gets his memory back. How's that for an original story idea? I mean, it's a solid premise. Whether or not it makes a good story has to do with how you write it. Like, a premise is not a story. A premise is a premise. And you can have good premises and end up with bad stories. And you can have mediocre premises that turn out really good because somebody really knew what they were doing. So, like, a premise is it's literally the first brick in the wall. Well, how do you think this wall is going to hold up? I don't know. Build the rest of it. What do you think of Angels in Manhattan? It's fine. It's fine. I think emotionally, I think it works. It's a pretty good send off for Amy and Rory, especially. Sorry, hang on. Didn't even bother to watch season 4 of Stranger Things. Look, the stuff that's good in season 4 is really good. But that's only about 40% of it. And I hate Vecna so much. I hate him. I hate his generic slasher Freddy Krueger wannabe BS nonsense asshole. I hate him. He's so uninteresting. He's so deeply boring. Can you tell why I'm not thrilled about 5th season of Stranger Things? What if the boss is Susan? I don't know. Tiger, what if she is? I don't know. Trista Ashley, thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate that very much. Good day, everyone. Good news, everyone. Sorry, had a Farnsworth moment. It's payday, and I'm getting Stray Gods tonight. Here's a payday tip to spread love. Stray Gods is a good time. Still playing that one. My only issue with what 15 did to Kid was he wasn't called out on it enough by Belinda. In my opinion, it was another example of Belinda's character disintegrating in the second half of the series. Yeah, like her in the first couple of episodes, like she had a real strength of character. She really felt like she was going to be someone who pushes back on the Doctor and doesn't immediately roll over and assume he's wonderful. And then after, I'd say, starting with episode 4 onward, she just rolls over and assumes he's wonderful. It's like, what the hell happened? Like, how did she go from the woman who calls him dangerous because he scanned her DNA without asking to the woman who reassures him that he's wonderful after she watched him torture somebody? What? Which Doctor Who villain would you like to see return? Honestly, right now, none of them. Like, look, I know everyone's like afraid to do a series with no returning villains because Chibnall kind of shat the bed on that because that was series 11. But seriously, somebody take another crack at it. Can we get out of the nostalgia loop? Please. Illumination, back again. Heading off to work now. Enjoy the rest of the stream, Vera. Thank you. We are going to have a hard stop in a few minutes because I have other stuff going on tonight. What time period would you want a campaign to be from? Literally any time that isn't now. Literally any time. Okay, no. I'll be more specific. Minimum 30 years out. Minimum 30 years out in either direction. Go as far to the extremes as you want. Have a cave person. I don't care. Just anything but now. Episode 4 was Lucky Day, and episode 5 was Story in the Engine. I think Belinda's role happened in episode 5. Yeah, I guess so. What I'm looking forward to in Strange New Worlds Season 3, Patton Oswalt as a Vulcan. I am also not super stoked for Strange New Worlds Season 3. The clips they are choosing to release and the trailers are not reassuring me. I think I'm going to come away from that show going, boy, that first season was good. Yep. All right, I got to get through these super chats, and then I got to talk about what's going on, and I got to sign out. Supreme Omega, is Cyclops really that boring? Okay, so we're talking X-Men now, because under the right writer, he could be compelling and have a lot of internal angst. Dude is a repressed emotional mess. His problem isn't... Okay, so depending on who's writing him, sometimes the problem is that he's boring because he's the leader and he's a good leader. So oftentimes he is boring for the same reason Leonardo is boring. Like, a good leader is kind of dull. Like, they just are. Unless you've got, Patrick Stewart bringing the charisma that he brings to Jean-Luc Picard, a good leader who makes good decisions, in that role is kind of dull. As a character, and other people outshine him. So that is kind of an inherent problem. Yes, he has other stuff going on. Cyclops' other problem, however, unfortunately, is that he's an asshole. Sorry. Like, he's earned that internal angst. Feel bad about yourself, dude. You kind of suck. I don't mean as a character, I mean as a person. I say that as if he's a real person. He's not a real person, but he can still work as a character in a narrative, but he's a lousy, I would not want to be his friend. Josephine Goodrich, thank you for the super chat. I follow 5 other Doctor Who reactors, but I look forward to yours the most. Oh, thank you. It's exciting waiting for your videos. Thank you for all you do. Are you into Avatar: The Last Airbender? Oh, this is where I lose a bunch of people. I haven't seen all of it. I saw the first season, most of the second season, and I stopped. Not because I didn't like it. It's fine. I just wasn't wrapped up in it. Look, here's what I've said about it, Avatar: The Last Airbender. If I'd watched it when it aired originally, I probably would like it a lot. The problem is, by the time I got around to trying to watch it, I'd watched a bunch of other stuff that sort of built off its template and took the ideas that it did with its overall storytelling and ran with them. And so a lot of the stuff that it did that felt bold and new for American cartoons at the time feels old hat to me by the time I got to it, because I've seen a bunch of stuff that was influenced by it. That's not the show's fault, but it does mean I wasn't interested enough to finish it. Sorry. Supreme Omega, thank you very much, sir. Sure, Cyclops is a jerk, but Wolverine that better? I don't think anyone would claim Wolverine is better if we're measuring on a jerk scale. The difference is Wolverine kind of knows he's an asshole. Cyclops doesn't think he is, and that makes him a bigger asshole. Anyways, I need to wrap it up. I gotta stop. So, there will not be a live stream in the break room tomorrow. I have stuff going on in the middle of the day, and I can't be streaming. Saturday's video is going to be about Drag Story Hour, specifically when a Drag Story Hour event happened in my part of Vermont, and sort of what happened in the lead up to that and on the day of the event. So that will be Saturday's video. Friday, I will be streaming on the Break Room of Geeks, my secondary channel, and I will be streaming more Stray Gods. And that's kind of what's coming up in the immediate. So, yeah, everybody take care of yourselves. Have a happy Pride. Be well, be safe, be kind, and remember that you are beautiful, you are valid, and you are loved. You are the council, and I am just running the meetings. And until next time, this council is adjourned. McCavity!